number two.
Uh-huh.
Question number two of the evening is from Livid in the Livonia. I love it.
I like that one, Living.
Livid says, I am involved in a lawsuit with my former business partner. We are fighting over a large property. We now have a buyer who wants to close next month. My concern is if we sell the property, I will lose my position at court. We are fighting over $135,000 in equity. What can I do? From Livid in Livonia.
Without knowing the true nature of the case,
Mm-hmm.
and just so you know, we always put down this is we disclaim everything. This is for educational purposes. So I really don't know the true nature of the case, except now I know there's property and two people are fighting over it, and there's equity. If the part, if they're trying to convey that property, or they're trying to save the equity in a really, like right now in a really good market, they might want to come to an agreement between, have their attorneys come to an agreement to at least liquidate the property or sell the property, do whatever they got to do to get the equity out and then fight over the equity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that home is eating up money every day, right? It costs money every day for taxes, insurance, utilities, what have you, all these expenses.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in litigation, and this does happen, and the parties can't come to an accord, but what they're doing is they're fighting over the equity. Stop the clock at least on the expenses. Get an agreement that you can put the money in escrow and you deposit the proceeds of the sale into an escrow account at court. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you get the court's permission. Courts have these escrow accounts. It's a large amount, so that's going to be circuit court. You petition the court. Courts don't care. There's judges happy to sign off on whatever the parties agree to within reason to be able to put the sales proceeds to the side while the parties are still duking it out. But at least you're salvaging what you can. Like, this is a great market. It's still a good market. What happens if the market turns, right?
That's really, really great advice. It really is. Just sell it and then escrow the proceeds.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful advice right there.
I've done that more than several handful of times. I mean, we do it a lot,
Yep.
But there are times that you'll have a party who's, it's more about the principle. And I'm not talking about principle. I'm talking about,
the principle of the thing, right?
Yeah, right. Okay. And they will, they're just doing it out of spite.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they just don't see it. And I do have a couple files like that as well. Mm-hmm. It happens.
No, that is great advice, though. It's like, stop for a second and come up for air and recognize that you have an opportunity that may not be just this continuous, right. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, and I know that we're into question 2 now, but we're entering into it's a new president, and we're turning things over, and it's the other side of the aisle and new policy, etc. So you're not sure where it is. So at least have the clarity to just make a business decision, not an emotional decision, to just go ahead and sell. But then the proceeds, then I guess, for Livid, my concern is that if we sell the property, I will lose my position at court. What exactly does that mean? To me, in my with my layman knowledge, reading that, it's just there's not enough information there that's clear for me.
Well, I don't
know. Mean by that.
I said in the beginning, I'm really not sure the nature of the the litigation, and we don't have to be. We can only give a general, more of a general analysis and critique and the information. But losing, we already know that there's equity, and we know we can put that equity somewhere. So what are they afraid of losing? I have no idea. What did it say? I'm afraid of losing, or what?
Yes, my concern is that if we sell the property, I will lose my position at court. My question is, why are you concerned about losing your position?
You'd have to,
a partner.
You would have to know what the true nature is. Maybe what she or he is saying, that I'm losing my leverage or whatever legal theory I brought a case under or defending under. Maybe I lose that that theory. And again, I can't give legal advice, specifically to that, but in general, that won't affect somebody's legal position. I think that's what they're really kind of saying.
Like
In
if they
theory, I'm gonna
sell, does that show that they kind of
no,
concede
no,
or agree with the
no,
other
and
side?
no, because it's part of a settlement, even though they haven't
Hmm.
settled. When you're trying to deal with that equity, the parties, if you have reasonable attorneys,
Hmm.
there'll be something in that type of what we call a stipulated order that will negotiate something, that there'll be a provision that says neither party's admitting to any fault, or neither, or
Hmm.
to the allegations. This is just a procedural step
Hmm.
that's being taken to preserve the equity. It does, the attorneys can have something that says there's no waiver of our rights or
Sure.
the client's rights or their legal theories. Okay,
Okay.
so I think that's kind of what they're getting to. Yeah. Other than that, and the other thing is, I got to tell you real quickly, Blair, is I would not, if they're already represented by counsel, it sounds like they're already in
Hmm.
litigation. That's pretty much what it sounds like to me. You can't take my legal advice. I don't want to give that person my legal advice. She has, or he has, an attorney. They have an attorney. They
Hmm.
need to talk to their attorney.
Yeah,
Okay.
it
I'm
says
not
I
here giving
am,
them legal advice.
says I
So,
am involved in.
mhm,
So, yep,
right.
currently. Okay, well, Livid,
But it's
we
a good
can't,
question. It's a
right.
great question.
Livid David can't advise you. However, the advice that he just gave is really good advice. So maybe David could advise your advisor. I'm just kidding. But no, that is really good advice. And so that
Why
is
are you
kind of
so
what it,
impressed?
no, it was like, oh, just sell it, but selling it does not give any sort of implication that you are conceding or wavering.
Correct.
It's just the procedural,
Right. That's all it
it's
is.
just the mechanics of it,
Mechanics, right, the
and
mechanics.
then focus on those. It's just shifting your focus. um it's as though this is a distraction and they're going to miss out on this opportunity to
Right.
close
Right.
because of it. But that's the thing, and that's what legal counsel and I'm going to go off on my soapbox here, but
Okay.
if you're watching this, and especially if you are an investor, um I have only been investing for a few years. You need legal counsel to move forward with these things, because little nuggets like that pay for the little golden nuggets just like that, because it opens up doors and opportunities um, before you go down certain roads, especially really big roads like $135,000 in equity
It's
avenues,
huge.
so
Yeah.
it is. So
Well,
that's
it's
my soapbox
a
is.
lot of experience too, right? I
Mhm.
mean, and we could be here forever, but and I
I
don't
know.
want to do. I want to move on to the next one, but it's a
Hmm.
great question, and there are so many variables to that question that come up. And the other thing is not about legal knowledge. A lot of times these things get resolved between parties because you have experienced attorneys,
Hmm.
or you have an attorney who knows the right people in the legal department at the title underwriter,
Sure.
so you can cut deals and give representations. I have closed, so we have a mutual friend we both know quite well. Um, you know, I do this at least once or twice a month. Somebody will come to me to get something resolved, and it has nothing to do with the legal knowledge isn't really what it is. It's the practical experience in business and in
Hmm.
real estate that I can say, let's get this done. Yes, you have a problem. We'll take care of the legal part, but you actually have to get to the end game real quickly. You got to close that deal or refinance that deal, and nobody wants to do it for you. So what happens is, I might pick up the phone and call somebody at the city or somebody at the title company or somebody at the court,
Hmm.
and not really cut a deal at the court, but make some explanations, and maybe there's ways that you can get those things done. So I'm
Right.
not a deal killer. A lot of deals can get done, but you got to be creative. And that's not that creative. Just put the money in escrow, get the parties to agree to it. You're not
Hmm.
going to lose your position.
Right. Well, it might not be that creative, but they didn't think of it, so
Yeah.
it is at least very valuable. Okay.
Okay.
Good. That was a good one. I liked that one. That might be my
Good. I'm
favorite.
glad. I'm glad.